Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. I'm kalikaiz. Today I'm doing decks of the week. This was out a little bit later because I had to finagle with the numbers a little bit, but we have it now. So these are the decks that made 5-0s on Magic Online from May 27th to June 2nd. So we're still tracking before Final Fantasy, and there will be one more week of pre-Final Fantasy that should come out. Before we get into this, remember that there are sideboard guides on patreon.com/kalikaiz, and you can get early access to videos on the YouTube membership. You can join that in the join button below or hit the link. Also, I wanted to bring up, there is going to be a second Upstate New York Pauper Open. So that is happening at the Spotted Octopus Brewing Company in Rochester, New York on August 9th. Rochester is pretty close if you live in the upstate New York or all the tri-state area, maybe Canada if you want to come out. Last time we had some people come from Massachusetts, which was pretty awesome. It's happening 10:30 a.m. in Rochester at Spotted Octopus Brewing Company. There's over $500 in cash prizes. And if we cap it at 64 players, or if we increase the cap because so many people want to join, it'll be $1,500 or more in actual cash prizes. Your first round is on the entry, and also the Upstate New York Pauper group is hosting a fundraiser for the Trevor Project with Commander Sealed in Rochester. That's happening on June 21st. If you want to donate or you want to attend, that would be really fantastic. I will not be at that, but I will definitely be at the Pauper Open, and you can find all the details in the description at the links. So let's get into what's going on in Pauper and the leagues. Mono red, still there, still strong, still crushing it. One of the problems is, so we went from 26% to 23%. Some of the mono red builds are so close to the Madness Burn builds now that it's actually getting conflated, and I had to finagle the numbers there. So mono red 23%, Madness Burn 14%. That is a total of 37% burn, pretty good. Mono Blue Terror coming in third place with 9.8%, and then Arcane Tide still rising quite a bit, tied with Jund Wildfire at 6%. We have a large number of one-ofs still. Let's see, 16 different one-ofs. Not all of them are new decks, but some of them were pretty awesome. So we'll get into that as we go along. I don't really have much to say about the metagame. It seems to be completely solidifying around doing Madness Burny stuff. If I look at my combination of like Madness Burn in all of the burn, we had 31% of our 35 burn decks at King Burn, and then 57% were Madness Burn at 20 decks. So let's see. We have 20. I got to do the math really quick. 20 and 26. So it's 52, 56. Oh, I don't know how to do it. Somebody's going to add it up. Okay, I'll do it. 1 second. All right, so here we are at about 25% of the metagame being sneaky snacker, madnessy burn decks, which is pretty interesting. You definitely have to have a very strong life gain strategy or go very fast to be beating these. So Mono Blue Terror, obviously Hydroblast is very good there. Arcane Tide can go faster. And Jund Wildfire, they've been playing things like Pulsum Ross in the main deck, Crypt Incursion in the main deck. They also have multiple Weather the Storms. They have Krark Clan plus Toxin combos, so they are fully prepared as well. You're seeing all these, the decks that are here struggling to try to make it into tier 1. They are the ones that are trying to fight the burn. Now, obviously, this is going to change a little bit in the challenge metagame, but we don't have the full challenge metagame lined up from Kerblinkzy because replays are still down on Magic Online. So that's okay. We're going to move into the Spice of the Week. So I want to check out a Mono Black Control from Segumo. I believe this is very similar to what we saw in a different league, but they're playing Pact Altair Refurb and then Gray Merchant. So that's kind of crazy and awesome. They've got only Fanatical Offering as a draw spell is interesting. So they're relying on Phyrexian Rager and Dusk Legion Zealot to draw cards. And then just doing the MBC thing. So that's pretty cool. That's great. It's interesting to me to see only a single draw spell. But they have 2 Bauble, 4 Tithing Blade. Definitely playing the Mono Black Devotion. we have a couple of different burn decks. So let's see. So this one is basically your old school pinger burn with 6 impulse effects, 12 pingers, and they decided to include the gutter snipes, and they have lava dart and fire blast. So these have been things that have been very impressive in the madness burn list. Basically, if you can get up to 4 lands with 2 fire blasts in play, you just play a gutter snipe out and that's 16 damage free. If you have a couple of lava darts in the graveyard, then if you have 2 of them, it's basically equivalent to casting a single fire blast, because with gutter snipe, that'll be 6 damage and a single fire blast is 6 damage. So it all adds up very, very, very quickly. I haven't seen any very stock like this in a while though. The other burn deck was by Big Tulahub. So this is your madness burn deck, but they've trimmed a lot of stuff. So they're only on 2 gutter snipes, 2 fire blast. They were able to put Clockwork Percussionist into the main deck, which allows them to play Demand Answers instead of Highway Robbery. They also trimmed on Lava Darts and Faithless Lootings. And they have, that's just an interesting way to build it, I thought. I've been trying to put Clockwork Percussionist into my list by cutting Sneaky Snacker, but they found a workaround, basically, it seems. Flame Breather is not super good in this specific version, as pinging for 1 doesn't really do that much. But if you have 2 of them in play, it's basically the same as a gutter snipe, which is sort of like how you can see that they've constructed this. They have 4 flame breathers and 2 gutter snipes, so half the number of gutter snipes as Kessigs. That just makes a lot of sense in my brain. They're also on 4 Great Furnace. Okay, so this person clearly, oh, well, I guess they have the Demand Answers to sacrifice the Great Furnace. Okay. But I was thinking maybe they just took their mana base from their like synth build and just didn't fix it. I don't know if playing the Great Furnace is a good idea because you don't have Tomb Raider, and I think that you could probably just sacrifice with Demand Answers on your Clockwork and your Voldaren Epicure, or just use it as a discard outlet instead, and not have to sacrifice the ability to Fire Blast or use your Lava Darts. But I can also see why they've gone down on both of those cards as well. That's interesting. So here we have a very, very spicy list. So this is Walls from Nuclear Atom. Now this is a list that I know that Teasdale was trying to make work. This is Spy Walls. We've got Lotleth Giant in here and 4 Balustrade Spy with the 5 land package of 4 forest to 1 swamp. And they can either walls your opponent, putting Galvanic Alchemist paired with Axebane Guardian to make infinite mana and then drain your opponent out with the Scholar of Aetheros, or you can just sacrifice all your creatures after playing a Spy and then dome them for lethal with Lotleth Giant because you have 40 creatures in the deck. 4 Winding Way, 4 Lead, 2 Dread Return, 2 Giant, and then a Reap in the Graves. That's pretty sweet. I didn't expect to see a 5-0 with this. Maybe I should look closer in all the rest of the Walls lists and see if this is taking off. But, you know, double combo all the way. That's cool. Next, we have a sort of revival of this Control-tron deck. This was from Walker 735. It looks at first like it is an Altertron deck, but it's not. There's no altar. There are 2 Golem Foundries for like a value creature. And here they played 4 Campfire, though they said that that wasn't very good. A couple of Cast Downs as removal spells and Krark-Clan Shaman as removal spells. What they're really looking to do is just Tactile Terror, Fangren Marauder your opponent out of the game by just drawing cards and eventually winning. So it's basically like Jund Gardens or Tactile Gardens, but with Tron mana base. So kind of neat. This one is a burn by Arrhenius MFS. So I did want to point this out. This is the Madness Burn shell, but they have completely cut the Sneaky Snacker for 4 Chain Lightning. So it's just all in. 20 mountains. We're going to do the thing. We're going to slam stuff on the table, and then at some point we're going to Fire Blast for lethal. I definitely want to try this. It's just so straightforward. I've been really enjoying putting a couple of Lava Darts and then slamming some Fire Blasts. So that looks pretty cool. I'm going to have to try that one. 4 Lightning, 4 Looting, and 4 Grab the Prize only. Okay. Here we have a mono white weenie by QB Turtle. So the reason I picked this out, now let's see if you can see it. Give it a glance. We've got 4 Salt Road Pack Beast. That is pretty cool. They have so many 4-ofs. All the creatures are 4-ofs. They have 4 Thraben Charm, 3 Pledge, 3 Strands, 4 Screech, 18 lands. But the thing that I wanted to point out is specifically Mana Tithe. Now, I was discussing this in the Familiars Discord. I know that J-Waves is basically the premier mono white player on Magic Online. I told them, I think that mono white could beat High Tide by playing Mana Tithe effects. Given Mana Tithe, there's also a bird that you can sacrifice to Mana Tithe an instant or sorcery. And that's because High Tide is a very tight combo deck. And let's say you went off on turn 4. You play High Tide, you have 3 mana untapped. If I play Mana Tithe, causing you to tap your land, that is now locked out of getting the bonus from that tide, which means that you're much more likely to see them fizzle from not having enough mana. Now, I don't want you to Mana Tithe me right now because I want to win the games, but maybe after the showcase this weekend, you can Mana Tithe me and I won't be mad about it. Plus, nobody expects counterspells from mono white, so you definitely should be playing that there. I think that's a smart inclusion. I wanted to point out that this player was able to, Zatrith, was able to 5-0 with the Demir Teachings deck. I don't see anything specifically different from when we played it on the channel, but congratulations to them. I never expected another 5-0 with this deck, so people are really stoked about this. I'm happy to see a lot of Demir Teachings. And then we have a Kiln Fiend. So I picked this as the spiciest version because we've got 12 creatures, Festival Crasher, E2 Amplifier, and then one of the new creatures, which is Crackling Cyclops. A 3-mana 0/4 gets +3/+0, which is similar to Kiln Fiend +3/+0, and I think that's very strong. Both of these creatures are 2/1s that get +2/+0, which is not very good. But E2 Amplifier, and they are playing Manamorphose, so technically, if you cast this with Kicker, you can bounce a creature an opponent controls. So that's a 5-mana play using the Manamorphose, which seems extremely unlikely to me and not necessary, but it is a thing you can do. They have free spells in Mutagenic Growth and Manamorphose, also Lava Dart. And then they've got, let's see, 4 Assault Strobe plus 2 Temur Battle Rage. And then they have Protection with Apostle's Blessing. So I think this deck is very streamlined. You can probably look forward to me trying to try this out and see how it goes. So that is all the spiciness for the week. I think that Pauper is kind of settling out. There's not a lot of stuff being tried and explored. We did have a really cool new list pop up now and then. Hopefully you're still enjoying. I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy, and I'll see you in the next video.